Alright, so let's start writing our logic. And if you notice, I reverted to the demo UI, and the reason is because we have to save time and I don't want to rebuild this again. Although it's not looking very clean, but you can go ahead and make yours clean as much as you want. But for mine, I'm just going to leave it like this. What matters right now is the logic. We are going to start with this first number, and what do we want to do? We want that when the number is clicked, when any number is clicked, we want to add it to in one. If in one is empty and operator is empty, then we want to add it to in one. But if in one is not empty, operator is not empty, then any number that is clicked, we want to add it to in two. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to go to events and take this when the sprite clicked, not the sprite. Okay, so and I'm going to set, so let's go to variable and let's say set in one. What do we want to set in one to? We want to set in one to the costume name. So I'm going to go to loop and I'm going to take costume number, and you can change this number here to name. So what will happen when I click on 7? When I click on 7, it's going to set it to the costume name. That's why I asked you to use the number as the costume name. So if you did not do that, you have to go back and do that now if you want to follow the same logic I'm following right now. So if I click on 7 again, it keeps on overriding the number that is there already. And what we want to do is that we want to add to that number. So the way we are going to do this is that we are going to track how many times a number has been clicked. So to do that, we are going to create two variables. So I'm going to go to variable and make a variable and call it in one clicked. And I'm going to make another variable called in two clicked. So now we are going to need an if statement. I'm going to go to control and we are going to use an if then statement, and you'll see why we're using an if then statement in just a second. So the condition is that when in one clicked is equals to 0 and operator is equal to nothing, then we want to set costume in one to costume name, and then we are going to increase in one clicked by 1. So I'm going to go to operator and we are going to use this AND operator. Let's just space it outside for now, and we are going to take this equal to operator and take it again, put it on this other space. Now let's go to variable and let's take in one clicked. So we're going to take in one clicked, and we want to make sure that it's equal to 0. Okay, we want to make sure it equals to 0, and then we want operator to be nothing. So we're going to take operator and we're just going to remove the number here and make sure it's empty. That way it's going to be nothing. So if I click on this condition right now, it's going to give us true. If that condition is true, what do we want to do? We want to add a number to in one. Let's drag this thing. Now if I click, you see it's adding the number. But now the next thing we want to do is that we want to join a number to that number when operator is nothing. When operator is nothing, it means if we click a number and in one already has a number, we want to join the number we just clicked to the already existing number. So to do that, I'm going to first change in one click by 1. To change in one click by 1 to tell our program that in one already has a number. Now it's time to join a number to the already existing number. So now I'm going to go to control and take another if then block and put it inside this else block. So that will get if else if. So it's like we're using an else if statement. Okay, so I'm going to go to operator and take this AND again, And the condition we want to use this time is that for the first comparison block, we want to use greater than. So we are going to take in one click. So let's go back to variable, and I'm going to take in one click and make sure it's greater than 0. So I want to say if in one click is greater than 0, not 50. So change the 50 to 0. And we also want to make sure that operator is equals to nothing. So I'm going to go here and take the equal to comparison operator. Go to variable and put operator and make sure it's empty. So we only want to add to into when operator is not nothing. So we are going to put it here. And what do we want to do? We are going to set in one now. Now pay close attention to what I'm going to do here. We are going to set in one, but we are going to join the existing number in one to the costume name now. So we are going to go to operator and take this join operator, put it here, and we want to join in one. So go to in one, put it here, and go back to looks, and let's take costume number and change it to name. Then at the end we want to change in one click by one, even though it's not necessary, but just to keep track. Okay, so now if I click on 7 again, so you see we have 77 right here. Okay, excuse me. So now we are going to create this logic for in 2, and it's similar. So I'm going to duplicate this and bring it under. So now what do we want to do? We want to change in one click to in 2 clicks, and here we want to make sure that operator is not empty. So when operator is not empty, that's when we want to add to in 2. So I'm going to remove this, change it to in 2 clicks, and I'm going to remove this, go to operator, take the not operator, put it in here, and then drag in the operator equals to nothing inside. So we want operator not to be equals to nothing. So we're going to now change this to in 2 and change in 2 click by 1. Now for this else if, what we just want to do is that we want to check if in 2 is greater than 0, in 2 clicks rather. So we're going to remove this, take just this. So this is going to be in 2 clicks, not in 1. So I'll go to variable and say in 2 clicks. Okay, and now what do we want to do? We want to change in 2. So set in 2, let's remove this and drag in 2 and change in 2 clicks by 1. So we can get rid of this. So now, so that we don't experience any unusual behavior in our program, I'm just going to manually set in 1 to nothing and make sure in 1 click is 0. I'm just doing this manually. In 2 click is already 0. So if I click 7 and 7 again, we get 77. If I keep on clicking it, you see the in 1 click number is increasing and we're adding more numbers. Okay, so we need one of the operators to work now. I'm going to set in 1 to nothing and in 2 clicks, in 1 click rather, because we have not clicked in 2 to 0. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to, let's start with the plus operator. So let's go to plus and we are going to write a logic for it. Now what we want to do for the operator is that when an operator is clicked, we want to set the operator variable to the value of that operator that is clicked, and that's quite simple. So we are going to go to event and we are going to drag in when this sprite clicked event. And what do we want to do? We want to simply set, so go to variable and set operator. So we are going to put plus here, operator, to plus. Now the reason why we are using plus is because we are clicking plus, right? So now that we have an operator here, let's go back to 7 and let's try out our logic. So let's click 77 and let's say plus 7. So you see the 7 has been added to in 2, and you can say 7 again to keep on appending to it or joining it. Okay, so now I'm going to try to reset everything. So we want to reset everything, and instead of doing it manually, let's take this opportunity to work on the reset button. So this C button to just reset everything for us. So we are going to go to event and say when the sprite is clicked. So when the sprite is clicked, what do we want to do? We are going to go to variables and we are going to say set in 1 to nothing. We are going to set in 2 to nothing. We are going to set operator to nothing. So we are just resetting our calculator right here to nothing, and we are going to set in 2 clicked. So let's say in 2 click to 0. So if in 1 clicked, now let's do for in 2, and we also want to set in 2 clicked to 0. And remember, we have output, so let's just account for that even though we have not done anything for output. Let's set output to nothing. So this is what we want to do. So now if I click on this button, it's just going to help me reset everything, and I don't want to be showing this, so I'm going to hide it in 1 click and in 2 click. I don't want to show it. All right, so the next thing we want to do is that we want to work on this equal to button. So what do we want to happen when we click this equal to button? If I go to the equal to button, we'll have to check the value of the operator and set the output to something. So we are going to use a bunch of if statements. So let's say when this sprite is clicked. So when the sprite is clicked, we are going to go to control and take this if statement. So we are going to say if operator is equals to plus. It's based on the operator. We want to know the kind of calculation we want to perform. I'm going to go to operator, and I'm going to use this equal to and say if operator. So let's start with plus because that's what we have for now. So we're going to go to variables and take operator, drag it right here, and say if operator is plus, then what do we want to do? We want to set output. So we're going to take output. I'm going to set output to the value of adding in 1 and in 2. So I'm going to add in 1 and in 2 and set it to output basically. Let's go to operator and let's take this plus operator, put it here, and we want to go to variable and take in 1. All right, in 1 and in 2. I know this is a pretty long video, but we'll be done soon. All right, so now I'm going to try it. Now that we have something, a logic on the equal button. So now let's do something. Let's say 7 plus 7, and let's say equal to, and it gives us 84. So we already have a functional calculator. It's working. We have created all the logic except for one logic. If we want to add to 84, if we click plus and want to add to 84, we want the output value to now be the value of in 1, and we want operator to be the operator we just clicked, and we want in 2 to be nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go back to my plus operator, and what we are going to do is that we are going to use an if statement. So let's go to control and let's take if, put it under, and we are going to check if output is not equals to nothing. So we want to make sure that output is not equal to nothing. So we are going to take this operator, the not operator first, and then we are going to set this to nothing and put output right here. So if output is not equal to nothing, then we are going to set in 1 to output, to the value of output, and we are going to set in 2 to nothing, set in 2 to nothing, and now we are going to set output to nothing, output to nothing. So let's test it and see how it works. So if I click on plus when output is not equal to nothing, you see we have 84, and you can say 7 and it gives us the answer. So our calculator is now functional. The next thing we need to do is to copy this logic to the other operators and the other numbers. So we are going to copy this logic we have here for number 7, both logic to the other numbers, and logic we have here for plus operator to other operators. So I'm going to quickly do that. So the way I'm going to do it is that I'm going to switch to small stage, and let's start with button minus. Let's copy this to minus and release it. So the way you know that you are copying to the right sprite is that you see it shake a bit when you place your mouse cursor holding the logic. So now I want to change here to minus, and let's copy this to multiplication, and want to change it to multiplication. The way we can get multiplication is that we can actually do Windows and period, the Windows button and period, and we are going to see some symbols there, and you can just take the multiplication sign. But if you don't have that, you can just use the asterisk, or what we know as star. But I'm just going to use this. And also for my minus, I think I want to use this symbol. So I'm going to do Windows and period, and I'm going to take this symbol right here. Okay, so now the last operator we have is division. So I'm going to do Windows and period again. Period is dot, and I'm going to take this division symbol. All right, so now we have to account for that on our equal to button. The way we are going to do it is just going to duplicate this, and we are going to say if it's minus, what do we want to do? Remember, whatever you are using here must tally with what you use inside the operator. So because I use this symbol for minus, I'm going to use the same symbol right here. And now we are going to take the minus operator, and we are going to minus in 2 from in 1. So in 1 minus in 2. That's what we want here. I'm going to remove this. We're going to keep duplicating this until we do for divide. So let's do divide. And want to change this operator, so we're going to go to the division operator, and we're going to divide in 1 by in 2. So in 1 in 2. Now let's do the last operator, which is going to be plus. So for plus, we have plus on our keyboard already. So I'm going to remove this, go to operator, and take the what we already have plus. Yes, so what we're actually accounting for now is multiplication. So I'm going to do Windows and period and say multiplication, and then we are going to take the multiplication symbol, and let's take multiply in 1 and in 2. So in 1 and in 2. We are now accounting for everything. To test this, I'm just going to go back to the normal stage. If I click, so you see we have multiplication now, and let's do times 7, and it gives us the answer. So to finish this calculator, what we need to do is to copy this logic. I'm just going to copy one and allow you to do the rest. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the small screen, drag, copy this first logic to 8. So if I go to 8, I can fill this first logic and copy the second logic for into to 8 also. And if I go to 8, you just have to separate it. They will be placed on top of each other when you copy like that. So now I'm going to clear everything, and let's try 7 and 8. Let's do 7 plus 8 and get 15. So we can clear, we can do 7 times 8. So if you, I don't know why my mouse keeps hiding things, so I'm going to what's missing, minus, multiplication rather. So I'm going to show it. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. So if you copy this logic to the other numbers, your calculator will start working. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to copy this by yourself. You have to copy it by yourself, just so that you don't spend much time on this video. Now for this video, I'm not going to be key takeaways. Instead, what I want you to do is to watch this video multiple times. Make sure you understand each logic and then try building your own calculator from scratch. For example, if I load the one I actually built, so I'm not going to save this, I'm just going to load the one I actually built. If I load from computer and load the completed calculator I did, if I load that, I'm going to maximize this. When I do 7 plus 8 equal to 15, I can say times 5, and let's say 56. What if I wanted to type in 55 instead of 56? You can decide to add a button for yours to just erase a number when you make a mistake. It's a good activity to practice your scratch skills. So we are going to stop here for this video, and I recommend you go through this exercise because true learning happens during creation, not imitation. So you have to create your own version, and I don't expect it to be like mine, because the whole point of the exercise is for yours to be unique. In the next video, we are going to explore a very interesting topic called sensing and collision detection. You don't want to miss it. See you there.